Okay, let's get started. So today we're going to present a case study about airport check-in process. So basically, what's the event, what's the sequence events, what the workflow for the airport check-in process. So of course, the first one is passenger arrives. The passenger arrives like randomly. So if they check in already, before they arrived, they can bypass the next step, which is checking. Otherwise, they go to like a regular process, move the passenger to the check-in queue. So the first event is arrived. And then when they move to check-in, the event is checking to checked in. So this shall be a queue for check-in process. First in, first out. Status of a passenger moves from arrive to checking in. So that means in the process. Then once checked in, they move to checking complete, or they just directly go to the next step, which is the security scanning. So here, there should be a time cost. Depends on the efficiency or how many lines the check-in could have. And then customer arrives security gate, which is start security scanning or and after sometimes it just passed the security gate. So the regular passenger would follow still the FIFO, but however, sometimes the pilot or personnel may jump in with higher priority once they shows appear in the check-in in the security gates. They can just directly move to the top of the queue and get a security scan earlier than the regular passenger. So once someone, whatever his passenger or the personnel on flight is done by security, and they can move to the boarding stage, or we should say the check-in complete. So the workflow, the final events, final status. Okay, so what could be the expense of this in the simulation? Well, the first one is ground. So the longer they need to process the checking, the more passengers are accumulated, and then the bigger area they needed for, standing waiting. So they would have like the ground for waiting area, for the checking area, for the security gate, or maybe multiple checking lines or multiple security gates. So the ground is the basic expense. And of course, in the requirement or conditions, we mentioned that we need to pay employee. The airport need to pay employee at both checking station and security gate. So if we add more employee, we open multiple lines. That could, of course, that makes a higher efficiency. So that makes customer more satisfied, makes this entire process being faster. Uh, but the higher cost will be made to pay more employee. Behind the things, of course, is time cost. Time is always money. So longer operation time costs more money for ground and employee. So what's the purpose of the simulation? Well, the first one, of course, it could be for money. Like the airport needs to make an analysis for income versus expense. So to find a better balance, how they can make the customer satisfaction between uh, the benefit. Well, the second one could be still from the airport. That maybe they're trying to optimize the system, find a better way to serve. Or third one, it could be a education purpose for simulation. It could be a design course, a BA course, or like we did here, a computer simulation course. So is this appropriate simulation for this example? For money, maybe the airport try to find a better way to serve customer or better scenario to save cost, make more money. That's for sure. That's yeah reasonable. So, but it just depends on how much expensive this simulation itself could be. But for education, yes, this is an appropriate example. Like it is easy and we can practice design, simulation, or some other things. It's critical. It's yeah, because we use airport every day. And it's useful and it's simple enough and it's yeah, very good to learn to investigate. So what we get from this simulation and what's this simulation majorly answer the questions. So we could have experience, we could have knowledge about workflow of checking plus security gate process. We could analysis the efficiency, like how can we make the entire process be more efficient. And of course, we can analysis the expense, the cost. After that, well, uh, in between, well, overall, we could find a better balance between efficiency and cost. And of course, we answers a lot how-to questions, like how to design a better process of checking, how to make a computer simulation if this is a education purpose simulation, things like so. What data structures we can use for checking and security? Well, for checking process, it's just regular queue. First in, first out, customer comes and being processed, and once they done checking, they just send out to the queue and goes to next step. Well, but for security scheme process, it's still a queue, but priority queue because the pilot or some other personnel could have higher privilege to be faster uh, taking uh, the security scan so that they have higher priority and move faster than the regular customer passenger. So the other variables involved in the simulation is, well, the first one is customer arrival, like inter-arrival of each customer. It's a randomness. So it's also the event trigger. So the customer arrives and the triggers entire flow. If no customers in the queue or anywhere, the process will be like in the idle status. Non-passenger arrival, that's special for security checking. So it's also a randomness event. The pilot or the flight personnel may or may not show up. And if they showed up, they would have assigned with a higher priority to get into the security scan queue. So behind the scenes time, of course, it is a timer that count the entire time of a customer arrive to the customer goes to check-in, the customer finish checking, the customer start security scan, and the customer finish security scan, and complete with all the process. Or otherwise, we can like put a period of time like to analysis how many customer we can handle within the certain amount of time with a certain conditions being set up, like how many employees we loaded into this process. Uh, well, the price, it's basically numbers. How much we need to pay to employee, how much we need to pay to the ground fee, the other fee. Otherwise, this analysis would be meaningless if we don't considering the cost. All right, that's all. Thank you very much.